Ladies and gentlemen, I'm James Rockin' that announcer guy, and I am the host of the Shelter-in-Place game show In the House, where our contestants can play from the comfort and safety of their own home. In the House challenges your knowledge on topics. We also feature prizes and giveaways. Join us for In the House, uploaded every Friday at midnight. Log on to bjtvnetwork.com/inthehouse, and hopefully you are in the house.
Last time and now we're even better. We'll have you beat by halftime, but stick around. You're gonna hear a deafening thunder coming from the crowd. Oh, Garner and Crockett, have you seen them yet? Turning out those first downs when the Raiders beat the Jets. And company, they're driving for another score. And when it's touchdown, Timmy Brown, you know the crowd is gonna scream more when the Raiders beat the Jets. Season, we got bigger fish to fry with Miami and New England. We can't be beat with another game at home, where the Raider fans are screaming and singing welcome to the Black Hole. Oh, the Raiders and Jets have had a rivalry ever since the Heidi game, when the Raiders beat the Jets.
Raider Fan Radio with you on another show 10. 10, baby, celebrate.
We made it, number 10.
10. Now, we know a lot of you are in your 200th, and some of you are in the thousands and all that.
Wait. Now I got to switch this around.
10 is big for us.
It's our 10th YouTube show.
Right.
Our 10th YouTube channel show here at Raider Fan Radio. But considering we've been doing it since our inaugural day, which was 4/20/2002,
right.
It's our millionth show or something like that.
Million.
Something like that.
Taking liberties.
Yeah, we always take liberties.
Had in our
Raider Fan Radio.
Like that, y'all.
Like that.
But it is show number 10 on YouTube. Thanks for hanging out with us. Like and subscribe right here.
And share. I've been meaning to tell y'all that. Go on and share, man, because we're international. Our international fan base is picking up. So we want to say hello to everybody across the pond and beyond. But that's what's up. Yeah, go ahead,
tonight's show.
That's knocking. I'm sorry.
Tonight's show, we are dedicating. Now, usually when we dedicate, we usually take a nice fresh dead to work with. You know, somebody recent that we know or love. But we are going to go back in time 40 years anniversary. We are dedicating tonight's show to one John Lennon, the great Beatle John Lennon, who was shot mercilessly in New York.
Cold blood.
Mark David Chapman, or at least I think there's a little MK Ultra in there somewhere. That's my own personal conspiracy.
Conspiracies have been endless.
Yes, of course. Years. But the fact of the matter is that yes, we all. And what really makes me think about this date, December 8th, 1980. I was 13 years old. I heard it, of course, like many people all over the country, all over the world. Heard it from our friend Howard Cosell on Monday Night Football. Of course, I watch football every Monday. I was born and raised with Monday Night Football. And to hear Howard Cosell announce to the world, you could tell there was a little, the importance of it, the significance of it. of course. A little breakup in his voice. Howard Cosell, of course, has interviewed John Lennon in the past, and being the worldly guy that he was, I think he's one of the great broadcasters of all time.
Yeah.
But when the significant assassination of John
And this was
Lennon.
back when, not to cut you off, this was back when breaking news meant something. Not that shit you see today, 24 hours.
Well, now there's breaking news every 10 seconds.
And it's not really breaking news, it's the same shit.
Now they just put a big flashing light. Breaking news, breaking news.
But this is back in the days when breaking news was really, especially when you had limited networks like we had back in the day, cable, and this is predates cable. And so it was really impactful when he interrupted the game. You remember who was playing that night?
It was the Dolphins and the Patriots.
Dolphins and the Patriots.
I'll admit I cheated. I looked on the internet.
I was watching the game.
I was certainly watching the game. And again, I remember the actual moment back in 1980. It was, to me, it's one of the most significant Monday Night Footballs of all time just because of that reason alone.
And it stands out as one of the great live TV moments, although it's not great what he was reporting on, but just that whole list in media of
how much it meant.
Significant and great breaking moments in TV history. It's one of the top, moments in TV history, him announcing that.
And I remember also, too, even though I was 13 years old, I mean, I was raised on Beatles music. I mean, from the get-go, out of the gate by my stoner dad. When we spoke last week about when we talked about Frank Zappa on our last show, my dad had rows and rows of records because that's how they did it in the 60s and 70s. We didn't have CDs and iPods. You had a room. Ours was the living room.
All your albums,
The living room was rows and rows and rows of records at my house. We had Santana, Janis Joplin, Bob Dylan. But we had every single Beatles record. Like I said, my stoner dad is a music aficionado. And just out of curiosity, when I got my first little toy record player, you start learning Disney songs as a kid. I started putting my dad's records. I started putting my dad's records on my little toy record player, and I discovered the Beatles. And
I want my daddy's record.
I was as familiar with Beatles music as probably most kids are with Disney. So by the time that happened, and also that year was his last album, of course, Double Fantasy, and it ended up being a huge, it started getting all kinds of airplay right after that, of course. But it was very significant, like I said, and of course it all ties to football. Now, on a Raider note, was also 1980 was the year of the 1980 Raiders, of course, because only about a month or so later they went and won the Super Bowl and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. So just a huge year in particular. So we go back 40 years in time. Wayback Machine. We're going to put the Wayback Machine right there on the screen, right?
Of course you will.
I love the Wayback Machine. I love, what's his name? Mr. Peabody?
It was a turning point.
Sherman and Peabody.
In the history of music and in the history of the Beatles, because for the first half of the 70s, coming out of the so-called flower child era and the hippie generation and whatever, the Beatles were still in that tail end of music, of being the pantheon of music and wherever the other people were striving to get to, and they had broken up. Another significant remembrance is 50 years ago, the Beatles broke up. And recently purchased this Rolling Stone mag. I still buy magazines, man.
I love magazines. A
great way to get into your information, to read it and feel it and see the words. But that was significant, and of course, Paul McCartney and all of them had went off to do their own thing. But everyone had been waiting because he went through a period of time, and I was going to mention people, if you get a chance, to please see the documentary, great documentary called The United States versus John Lennon. Because he was very proactive in social issues at the time, early 70s. Peace
That's why
issues.
He was murdered.
Yes, calling attention to nukes and nuclear weaponry and all that. And
that's why I say there's some MK Ultra in there.
Right.
That's just me.
Right.
And of course did the great Give Peace a Chance, a concert in Madison Square Garden, which our illustrious stoner dude and his band, RaiderHed, subsequently years later would do a reworking of that song that's very popular.
Raiders Kick Ass.
Called Raiders Kick
Ass. A song that Raider Rob wrote the rap to.
Hey.
We asked Raider Rob to do it.
Talk about
so his influence is, just insurmountable in a lot of ways. In that period of time, I remember, and the 1980 was just a very, just before he got killed, people were very optimistic. about
once again
John Lennon after, like I said, Paul McCartney had done off and did Wings. George Harrison was doing his solo thing. Ringo had his Ringo All-Star
They were
band.
all starting to have some pretty good success.
But he hadn't yet really, since the early 70s, really put anything major out that had grasped the public. And that was going to be that big, like Stone said, double fantasy. It was going to be that big return of John Lennon. And, of course, our elders, our parents' generation, were all idealistic about the possibility, of course, of a reunion and them going on a tour into the early 80s. Just seemed like that would be the next natural progression with the success of Double Fantasy, and it was not to be. So,
when you back to what you just said, though, like that to me is like one of, I mean, obviously, I won't say obviously, but historically, John Lennon is the great songwriter that he was. Yeah. I mean, to be that young and being the Beatles, the greatest rock band, in my opinion, of all time.
Yeah.
But to be that outspoken, that in tuned, that in touch with a lot of things that people weren't talking about. Even just the fact when he first came out and said they were bigger than Jesus, it was a true statement. Everything he said ended up being controversial, regardless of what his intentions were.
Right.
It was because he was so outspoken and had so much to say. And I think that's probably why, like you said earlier, that's why a lot of his music wasn't given the same kind of attention or maybe the success he probably would have liked, because he was so outspoken, because everything was revolved around his personal life and everything. But that he was doing his thing. John Lennon was doing his thing, and he did it his way.
John Lennon.
I was utterly heartbroken that day.
And you were young
because I was 10 years old.
Oh, 10.
A little 10-year-old black hole,
baby
broken black hole, Steph, broken hearted.
Heartbroken because that was so sad. It was like, even as a child, all of us, I think, were extremely conscious about what was happening socially.
Yeah.
And I know I was. I remember when Reagan got elected, and I was just like, this isn't right. Like, it's something
See
about
how these
like,
things come together? Reagan gets elected.
Right.
John Lennon gets assassinated. They make a bunch of money off his album after he died posthumously.
Right.
Is that how you say it?
It's called the death money. That's what the industry does is they make money off of.
I think that's what they did
to
Prince, but that's another.
Well, that's what Prince did to the industry.
I think they did it to Michael Jackson too.
That's what Michael Jackson did to the industry. They made money off of their own deaths ahead of time. What's up, y'all? All
right, we'll get another.
But again,
it's worth mentioning.
John Lennon, I mean, I was really conscious of the fact that he was a man of peace.
Yeah.
And he was wanting to unify, and everything he spoke about, just his aura was just very peaceful. And it just seemed like we were under constant attack. Our generation was. Any hope, any possibility of bringing people together and having a peaceful society, it was just constantly attacked. As it is today. It has not stopped after 50 years. It's the same shit, the same group of people almost. Some have died off, but their
predecessors and their offspring.
They live on, and their spawn lives on to continue to attack us to this day.
And to speak to the social implications of his death too, at another period of time where the question in this country, as it still is today, about the proliferation of weapons. Nuclear. And who has guns. No, not nuclear weapons, but in America, guns, and who has weapons. This guy, Mark David Chapman. And also you had more of the evolution of the stalker, because he had met him earlier in the day and gotten a picture with him. He'd been out front of the Dakota there. I've been to many times when I lived in New York, right off of Central Park West there, and on 72nd. And he had met him, earlier that day, got a picture and all that, and John Lennon signed his album for him, and he stayed out there all day and waited for him to come back from recording studio that night and, ambushed him and shot and killed him. And so it brought back again this attention to America on the forefront nationally about guns, and it was a big push for, handgun laws to be changed. And of course, Reagan gets shot. And then it really became a big deal when him and James Brady and Thomas Delaney were shot in front of the Watergate Hotel. And so, anyway, it was such an optimistic time. And then months later, going into this new decade of the 80s with so much optimism, we were back to just like
back to the
fucking
assassination.
America.
It always fascinates me, and I keep
Somebody great killed
focusing
again,
on, like you say, Steph, the people that are out to preach and speak of peace, that are peaceful people, that have a message of peace. They're the ones that get assassinated, and you know, whether it's Martin Luther King or Jesus or whatever.
Yeah.
You go down the list through history of all the people out there that were trying to actually change the world for the better, and were killed for it ultimately. But that's what happened. And another real quick one, well, not quick one, I think it's unfair to put it that way, but because we spent a lot of time on our dedications here at Raider Fan Radio, also want to make a dedication to one DimeBag Darrell, lead guitar player for Pantera.
Yes.
As you can see by the t-shirt we have in the back, this is a t-shirt that I actually painted and designed for Pantera.
I told y'all.
Approved by DimeBag Darrell. And back in 1999. And I've been a Pantera fan for a long time. They basically changed the face of heavy metal for their era.
Yes.
You know, when bands that in the late 80s, early 90s, when the hair metal or the hair rock bands like Poison and Motley Crue were going down the wayside, the new era was the Nirvana and the grunge movement that came out of Seattle. Well, during that whole time, heavy metal, the way we knew it at that time, bands like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden were, and even Metallica at the time, were considered the dinosaurs at the time. Heavy metal was kind of on the downside. But out of all that, out of the ashes comes Pantera. Now this new heavy monster level of heavy metal.
Much sped up.
Heavier, meaner,
faster.
Fiercer, and the guitar was just heavy. And of course, DimeBag Darrell changed. You know, he was the quintessential new breed guitar player at the time. And when he died, he got so much respect by all his colleagues and peers. Eddie Van Halen himself gave him the Bumblebee, the black and yellow striped guitar, put it in his casket, and Gene Simmons donated the Kiss casket because he was a big Kiss fan, like I am too. So it's just certainly worth mentioning. Ironically, December 8th. For both guys, for John, obviously a bad day for rock stars.
Yeah, December 8th.
Yeah.
Where's the gunshot sound?
Oh yeah.
Tribute to you all.
And so
the soundtrack of our lives.
But a remembrance, and as we said, a dedication to just two great icons, and of course one of the greatest songwriters and musicians of all time, John Lennon. A man who was of peace and a man of great musical talent. And, let's do this, because I've done it so many times in my lifetime, being a musician myself and an artist. You have done it. Steph, you've done it in your circles, I'm sure. But let's just do it for the sake of argument. The age-old debate that comes up when you talk about these great legends like this who are in these great bands. Who are you to, and I got mine, top 5 rock bands of all time.
Top 5 rock bands.
Rock bands, specifically rock bands, with the Beatles included.
We're rock with the Beatles included.
Yeah.
You're just going to throw the Beatles in there.
Okay,
you go first, Steph.
What's your list with the Beatles included?
Let's see.
And you can comment below with your list too.
Definitely.
Participate. We'll read them on the air.
My number 1 of all times is Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
Because I just. Man, I love that band. I love Kashmir so much that I had it on loop for about 3 months, like nonstop.
That's right.
Sounds about right. That's a good thing. Just keep it going.
Just keep it on loop. Oh, I love it. And then of course Robert Plant, Pink Floyd.
She likes the Robert Plant.
Pink Floyd, yes.
Sexy,
intelligent
long hair, just
prog rock,
singing rock god. Van Halen, of course. You know what? I really do want to put Funkadelic, even though Funkadelic is funk, it is rock.
You could put, first of all, it's your list.
Right, I can do what I want.
You can do whatever you want.
If
you want to make a list of your top 5 of all time, sure, you can put like and comment right here. It's all good. It's your list. You may be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. Well, I'll correct you later.
You may be wrong.
But in the meantime, go ahead and make your list.
He's the decider.
I would put Funkadelic even before Led Zeppelin in my book.
She's going number 1, Funkadelic.
Okay. Number 2, Led Zeppelin. Number 3, Pink Floyd. Okay,
Van Halen,
Roger Waters is still hot today.
You said Van Halen.
Van Halen, and I probably would go with, I don't know, maybe AC/DC at the very to
Interesting,
wrap it up.
Fascinating. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and give you my list because I actually took the time and wrote it down. And I'll give you my reasons why.
Wrote mine down.
First of all, you got the Beatles,
His
number
list
one.
looks better than mine.
Everything is it's the Beatles and everything else. The Beatles changed the world. They went through phases. They started off as a bar band, a rock band in the bars, and turned into the phenomenon that they became, being young kids to do it too, in their late teens, early 20s.
When we were young, we lived
The Rolling Stones, the longevity of it, the discography of the Stones, how many great songs and albums they've had over the years, and they're still around, they're still alive, and they were doing it at the same time that the Beatles were doing it. Led Zeppelin, I say Led Zeppelin. I mean, it goes Beatles, Stones, Zeppelin with me no matter what. Led Zeppelin is one of the great rock bands of all time that everybody wanted to be like. Van Halen, I thought about this now. It's not just because Eddie Van Halen died recently. It's the fact of the matter is that Van Halen, again, went through many phases and stood the test of time.
Yeah.
They were the groundbreaking rock band that changed the world at the time since Led Zeppelin. And then to keep it going with Sammy Hagar and reinventing themselves and changing and opening up their demographic the way they did and still being able to do it to this day, it's unprecedented. There's not that many bands that you could say that do that. Now, when it comes to number 5, that's been tough for me. Because I made a list.
His list was good.
And maybe you can help me out with number 5 because, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. First of all, AC/DC, you got AC/DC's up there.
For sure.
Black Sabbath
I was
invented.
gonna say Black
Sabbath invented heavy metal.
Yeah.
The Who, to me, is one of the great classic rock bands of all time, still around today. Aerosmith, God, how could I not put Aerosmith on that list?
No, it ain't Aerosmith.
And Kiss, I mean, come on, Kiss, they created the rock show the way we know it today, and they're still around. But because Steph has put her personal band into her list in Funkadelic, I'm just going to go ahead and say Rush.
All right.
A Hall of Fame band. They've gone through all the many changes over the years. They're still on the radio to this day. They've been playing stadiums their whole entire career ever since Moving Pictures. And for the past 10, 15 years, they didn't even need an opening band when they went out and toured. So that's my list. Wait, where's my pen? All right.
Who's going to be the
It's like those sports shows where they're putting teams
in different Rush.
Pretty soon I'm going to get me one of those John Madden those chalkboards. So I'll stick mine. That's mine.
Now the question that was posed, and like I said, I've had a lot of these debates over the years, but the question that would always also get posed in these type of debates was it fair or can you put Hendrix in the band equation?
No.
See?
No.
I've always put Hendrix as Hendrix.
I'll tell you why. Because first of all, Hendrix was already Hendrix before the Experience. They basically they helped him by giving him that band. Now, I take that back to a certain degree. Mitch Mitchell, to me, is one of my favorite drummers, a big influence on my playing. And I think the combination of Mitch Mitchell's jazz rock style to go with Jimi Hendrix style and the way they improvised was unmatched at the time. It was bombastic. It was all over the place. It was crazy. It was unique. It was awesome. Noel Redding, I mean, even to his dying day, he still kind of resented the fact that Jimi Hendrix got all the glory, and he didn't,
rightfully so.
But point being is that he wasn't that great a bass player to begin with. He was a guitar player that played bass to play with Jimi Hendrix. He got lucky. He's the one who got the golden ticket. If anything, Noel Redding. So
that's why the Experience would have a challenge in a sense when you would put them in the great band debates, because at that same time, like, you've got the Who already. They've already established themselves at Monterey. And then, is it Noel Redding over John Entwistle? No. I don't think so.
Well, here's a notable difference, too. When you look at all these bands, okay, the bands that we just talked about, even these bands, my secondary bands, my other list, these are bands that they needed each other to become who they were, to create the music that created. Jimi Hendrix could have and should have still kept doing it to this day. He could have kept going and kept going and played with anybody and made great music.
You know who likes this type of talk? Old school Raider fans and John Gruden, if he's watching, and Mike Mayock.
We know John Gruden's watching.
Big time classic rock heads and all that. Well, my list real quick, because we want to get to Raider football and more of the show, but we thank you for tuning in to Raider Fan Rock Radio. We do everything. Like we say, we're sports entertainment. Rolling Stones, number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, because I'm going to keep it in the rock genre, as I stated, Led Zeppelin would be my number 2, and then the Beatles would be number 3, Van Halen, and then Aerosmith.
Yeah, that's a great list.
In full disclosure, love the Beatles, love their music, particularly more of their older stuff, starting with Revolver and going all the way into Let It Be and what have you. But in my overall rock list, they wouldn't be in it so much.
But why'd you put them in
top 5? Because the question was the greatest all-time rock band that includes the Beatles.
That's kind of biased.
The question was,
your list.
Make the list, but put the Beatles in it.
Okay.
So I sacrificed
a
couple of bands there to put the Beatles in it because they wouldn't be in my general list in any rock debate.
Who would be your?
Yeah, give me your real 5 then if you don't have the Beatles, because I gotta know now.
No. You just take the Beatles out.
Okay.
And so the Beatles would be replaced by AC/DC.
Okay, great list. I'll take it. Like I said, we want to hear your likes, comments, and shares here on Raider Fan Radio. Comment here down below on our list. Give us your list. And, of course, now we'll go into the future of what we have going on now tonight. And that is the actual game that got played this last Sunday. And that is against the New York Jets in New York.
Yeah, it was in New York. And the Raiders, game-winning touchdown pass from y'all quarterback.
My all quarterback? My all quarterback. He's talking about my all quarterback, Derek Carr. Who threw that pass?
Piggybacking on what I was stressing last week, Ruggs, get him open. You've got a guy with 4.27 speed. To me, we shouldn't have even been that close. 28 points put up on our defense.
That's what you said during the Chargers game, too.
A 0-11 team. That's a little questionable, something that needs to be tweaked, because also defensively you can't play down to your competition as the Raiders had done the previous week against Atlanta. Offensively, again, the explosion was there. It's been there. And as I've been stressing, this is our DNA. What you saw at the end of the game, why it doesn't really impress me so much after a couple attempts to end the game on long passes, which I give credit to Chucky for having the confidence in number 4 to trust him to, just have to throw into the irons in the fire and throw into the teeth of the defense and go out and win the game for his team.
Yeah.
But I grew up on this type of football. That pass to Ruggs, that was 3 or 4 times in the first half. In the classic days of the Raiders.
It made me go back to even watch the 1980 AFC Championship game with the Raiders against the Chargers, just so I could see what it
used to be like, huh?
What it used to be like, like a Wayback Machine. I had to go back just to watch Jim Plunkett and just the times that he threw it and just the persistence and the team united, and I had to be reminded of that because I'm sick and tired of week after week the same thing. It's like, again, it's not definitive, it wasn't demonstrative, it wasn't an attack, and I'm looking for that in Raider football, and it's not going to stop. It's Al Davis football.
You could say on paper it should have been a blowout. The bottom line was we did win.
I took the 8.5 points and didn't win, by the way. I thought they'd win by 10. They should have. Like we talked about that last week, especially after that loss to the Falcons. Now, I'm in the same position I am now as I have been so far along. First of all, I will accept and embrace all the criticism with Carr. He deserves all of it. But at the same time, he deserves the good things that he does too. But to me, I'm still putting it on the defense. The very first drive of the game, Sam Darnold came and scored right away. They set the tone right away and put 7 on the board.
Right.
And we had a good second quarter. Good things were going defensively. Clelin Ferrell had a great day.
Yeah.
He probably one of his better days. Now, even though he was the number 4.
You heard me talking about J.J. Watt and got off his ass.
The number 4 pick overall, who, he doesn't get put in the same boat with a lot of the other elite defensive players in that particular draft. But the Raiders' defense is better when he's on the field.
Yeah.
When Maurice Hurst is healthy and he's on the field, he's disruptive in the middle. It's just not enough.
Hankins, too, stepping up, and you saw Mullen playing the ball. He got an interception.
When he got that interception, it was like he scooped it in the air. It was a thing of beauty.
But you clearly see him take his eyes off the receiver and look at the ball.
Right.
And again, and trumpeting.
It's because he's been listening to RaiderFan
Radio. But this is how football is won. And, I said the defense would have to win it last week and would have to win more of these games. Back to the quarterback. I want to give it, again, props to Chucky, but I also want to say I appreciate Aguilar and even Renfro a couple of times in those last couple of drives in the closing moments of the game for showing obvious, visible discontentment with the pass. Okay, again, I'm not rooting for number 4 to lose. Okay, I'm not rooting for him to do bad, but the inconsistencies are glaring. As I said last week's show, you've got to be able to win these type of games, and for him and the hype that he gets around him and everybody trying to protect his fragile ego, these are the games where he's got to show that he's not fragile and that he can focus and that he can step up and get us over the top. Like I said, not impressed with the ending so much because that should be part of the template of the offense anyway. Stretching the field and with all these speedsters we got, don't sleep on Renfro. Renfro's a great route runner and he's got that unassuming white boy speed. Okay, when you sit up here and you sleep.
He's returning
like Julian Edelman. Well, I wish he'd stop doing that. But Edelman also had it, the unassuming speed. You've got a number of other, Tim Dwight, we all remember from back in the day. But when it comes to the Raiders,
Who was the guy on the Bills?
The Bobby Chandler, Don Beebe was another one. Well, and they also now have Cole Beasley, who, made his trade under the waning years of Tony Romo's
I see a little bit
Dallas.
of Wayne Corbett, too.
Wayne Corbett's
like
another
you said,
one.
the unassuming speed, the unassuming ability. He's just a natural football player.
Great route
that's
runner.
Why he got drafted.
Great route runner and can catch the ball, has great hands. And so, that's the type of offense and that type of play is what will work. Aguilar had gotten behind the defense. So when you have speed like that, you've got to exploit it. And that's all I've been screaming for the Raiders to do. And so, my hat's off to you, Chucky, for, going for it like that, for taking the bull by the horns and not settling for a conservative approach of trying to get into the end zone. You knew you had to win, and the best way to win, as the great Al Davis used to say, is quick and over the top. And we can do that. So, it was a great win. Last minute, beat him at the buzzer. Number 4 played within himself.
The part of the game that was just disconcerting or worrisome was in the third, going into the fourth quarter. That's when the breakdown happened. They were doing good during the second and third quarter, but the fourth quarter, all of a sudden, when they're up ahead and you've got the Jets where you want them, all of a sudden Sam Darnold, the New York Jets at 0-11 are starting to come back and look like heroes coming downfield and scoring touchdowns. Yeah. And that was concerning. I like seeing Nicholas Marr out there. He got his sack of the day.
Right.
Like I said, there are guys on the defense I like. There's definitely going to be a lot of guys that ain't going to be here next year.
Arnett is not going to be here if he keeps leaving with his foot.
I had to bring that up.
He's going to be in a brain injury clinic some fucking where. Dude, you have got to stop leading with your head.
We talked about it last week. This
is the second week in a row. This time it's the second play of the game. He knocks himself out. I'm all for the effort. You get an A for effort, man, but you get an F on execution, man. You know what I'm saying? You've got to stay in the game. You're ringing your bells there, Dingley. You know what I'm saying? And with this protocol thing they got with concussions, a lot of you young players, including you, have to be careful of how much of this you build up and kind of how many times are you going to see the principal type of thing. How many times are you going to see the doctor over head injuries where The NFL now will play a determining factor on how long your career can be. They're not going to leave it up to the player much anymore going into the future of the NFL with CTE being so highlighted now. So you guys got to think about that as far as the way you play the game, man.
They re-signed Darrell Worley today.
Who?
Darrell Worley.
Well, where in the world has he been?
He was with the Raiders 2017 to 2018. And obviously we got rid of him because he wasn't the guy we thought he would be.
Well, why would he be the guy now?
Right now, because that just goes to show you the desperation right now that the Raiders are experiencing at the defensive back position, where guys are getting hurt and they're getting knocked out of the game and they're not able to come back.
I'm telling you, it's a calcium thing. You motherfuckers need some tiger milk. Y'all need some tiger milk. You need to start drinking some homogenized milk. Fuck that 2.1 milk y'all drinking, or almond milk, or silk milk, or whatever they feeding y'all up there, man. Get some real calcium in your asses, because I am just sick of watching these young millionaires falling out everywhere, man. It's
millionaires.
I cannot let the discussion go by without
it's all you.
Tight ends, just in giving the props to Darren Waller.
Played a great game. Yes,
man, 200 yards. He's constantly getting yak. He's just this big physical presence on the field. And then, I'm going to get sick to my stomach if I see Jason Witten on the sideline anymore. Please get him involved. That's your veteran. Now, and just in those clutch plays, to have somebody like that on the field, he's going to get the extra inches that you're going to need. He's going to figure out a way to get that ball in the end zone, and he's just really underutilized.
No, I agree with that.
Out why.
I agree, but I do think that Jason Witten, again, he's going to be that guy in a right now. We are in playoff mode. Right? Can we agree at least on that?
Yeah, we should be.
We are
playoffs.
That quick in a week.
Playoffs?
That quick in a week.
You kidding me?
We hit them last week. They
Playoffs?
was third. That were on the outside looking in.
Right
now, they're back in the hunt.
Yeah. Back in the hunt means that you got to win. You got to win here on out.
You got to win out. Yeah.
And you're in a position now where you got 3 weeks in Vegas. You don't have to travel. You just did the 2 East Coast road trips, or the trips. And now you get to hang out in Vegas in your own beds. You got to do your own, your own little
we
world.
Hope they're in their own beds.
Well, you do what you got to do.
There are a lot of beds in Vegas.
Do what you got to do. Baby. But you might get the COVID. Yeah. Right? But anyways, the fact of the matter is that they are home in Vegas for 3 weeks. You've got the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Chargers. The Colts, the Chargers, the Dolphins, and then you got to go to Denver. Okay, those are winnable games.
Mm-hmm.
If you could play as good as you've played this year during the course of the 2020 pandemic season, you should be able to win those games just like you were supposed to win in Atlanta and New York, of course.
Back to you pointing out still some of your questioning of the defense or whatever. What is it that you still need to see from the defense or want to see going forward on this playoff stretch that you still got some doubts about?
Well, I could tell
based on last
it's obvious to me anyway, and Gruden brought it up a few weeks ago when he could tell it was painfully obvious to the world that we really don't have a defensive tackle or a couple of solid defensive tackles that are menacing, that are real stalwart defensive tackles, stars, and that's what you need to go to the Super Bowl, to win a Super Bowl. Defense wins championships, and it all starts right there at the defensive tackle is the first guy that gets to the quarterback and disrupts the line. We don't got that. And then Gruden said, we're going to be creative.
Well, you just praised Hurst and Hankins a moment ago. They're both been playing
but their praises are still in increments. They're small doses. Right. We don't have a guy, okay? We're going to have DeForest Buckner coming in to the Death Star here this next week.
And Vic Beasley just got signed to former Atlanta Falcon last week.
So they have been creative. One of the plays that Cleveland Farrell got the sack, the strip fumble.
Right.
He was in the middle. They're moving guys around the line, trying to be creative.
Yeah.
Obviously, Carl Nassib was in the doghouse this last week. He didn't play, so we don't know what we're doing.
And Josh Jacobs is injured right now.
You got a team like today, where yesterday where the Washington football team, who has had a shitty season, all of a sudden they're beating the undefeated Steelers.
The Steelers went and lost to a team with no name.
Because they got a guy like Chase Young on the defensive end position. That's what we need. That's what the Raiders
we have Max
need.
Crosby, on the defensive end position, and Farrell played
we got guys,
and
but we
got
don't,
guys. There's got to be a cohesive, right?
We still don't got nobody in the middle.
There's got to be a cohesive effort to complement the lack of the true dominance in the middle that you're talking about to suffice against run games, particularly getting the playoffs and you're playing teams like Buffalo, or Pittsburgh with a good running game, steady running game, and even if you got to playing a Kansas City or what have you, even Tennessee coming in with a Derrick Henry. Yes, we have to be stout in the middle, but what I think defensively more that we've been seeing, like you said, the different looks, is that those looks now have to pay dividends. We saw a little bit of it against the Jets, and it should have been more, dominance defensively against a guy like Sam Darnold. But there also has to be, again, more aggressive play on the edge and more takeaways from our interior players. There got to be more strips from the defensive linemen. There's got to be more interceptions from the linebackers, more aggressiveness like Morrow, and just overall the
Where's
defense
Corey
itself.
Littleton? Wasn't Corey Littleton supposed to be the big
free
agent signing of the year?
He's not.
Yeah.
He's spotty. And
he was the big name this offseason.
Well,
the number one top big name, just like
that
last
shows you
year.
how big names are anymore.
Yeah, we went from Antonio Brown dealing with that and getting nothing out of that, and all of a sudden,
let me put it like
scenario,
this.
but still,
where Corey Littleton gets that praise of having been that guy is because of what happens with Burfict the year before. If you bring back Vontaze Burfict, no one's thinking about Corey Littleton, and that was a glaring omission. And whatever happened with him post the suspension and all that was a guy that I thought and was expecting to come back this year, but the politics of the game precluded that. But that's the type of attitude that you're talking about. Littleton, I knew wasn't going to bring that. Kowalski was really the cat that we were looking to see who was going to be able to be a centerpiece in that defense. Your boy Morrow stepping up, like you said. But Littleton, again, a throwaway free agent who, there was a lot of hype around him, but again, much like the quarterback, there's inconsistencies with that hype surrounding that hype, and he can't live up to the hype and the expectation that was coming. But where does he rank with all those different linebackers that were available? So, you got to put that out there, too, when you look at the balance of the expectation of the guy and what he could truly bring. He was kind of masked down there with the Rams because they had so many other.
I was just going to say,
players,
Corey Littleton played behind Ndamukong Suh.
Right.
Aaron Darnold.
Right.
He had
Ogletree on one side.
They had a great defense that year.
Yeah.
That was a fierce defense. I think about the defensive backs. Now, we have this situation with Arnett where he keeps getting hurt and taken out of the game. I think we can all agree everybody loves Javon Mullen as far as a young cornerback being the possible future of the team. But when I think about some of the teams that we've had in the past or some of the teams that have gone into the playoffs or into the postseason, they've had a veteran or a couple veteran-type defensive backs, whether it was a Rod Woodson or, we brought in Torrey James at one point.
Right.
Willie Brown at one point was a Bronco and he became a Raider. There were guys that went out and made their bones somewhere else. And all of a sudden, like J.J. Watt, for example. You're talking about J.J. Watt possibly being here next year. Maybe there's a defensive back out there, one or two guys that we could look at that might be able to work with these young guys, work with the Damon Arnett, set an example. Here's a question. What do you think about Richard Sherman at this point of his career? Possibly being a Raider next year.
Richard Sherman.
That's a strong possibility, and that's if he's looking to get out of San Francisco.
He's leaving San Francisco, that's for sure. He's not the player.
They're not in San Francisco.
Yeah, right now they're in
the
Arizona.
outskirts of San Jose. Now they're in Arizona.
They're in Arizona.
I think he would be a great addition to the Raiders. I would take him, from Seattle to the Niners to here.
Because
it's a good place for him.
The hype behind Damon Arnett and Jonathan Abram is that they got the swagger, and they got skills, and they've got speed, and
these motherfuckers they got
they're
the
willing
swagger.
to hit. But the point being is, if you bring in a Richard Sherman,
having swagger is
like
not having to tell everybody you got swagger.
Right, that's true. That's what I'm saying. If you bring in a Richard Sherman in the same room with those guys, now all of a sudden they got someone to look up to that they can go, that's what you're talking about.
But we've not done well with bringing in veteran players, like, in terms of like at this point. In the past, yes. But in the last 5 to 10 years, you're looking at, again, a situation of defenses specializing. You're also looking at a situation where the youngsters don't want to hear nothing the elders have to say. So he can come in with all this skill and Super Bowl appearance, but they're still going to do their thing with the earring and whatever else.
And plus, we killed a lot of that possibility of really being able to acquire those top-notch cornerbacks and DBs that were available, because we spent a period of 10 years on 2 different projects when you look back at Phillip Buchanan, and then when you go
Keybuck.
Right, and then when you come into the future and you look at oh God, his name just fell off. I just had him in my head, but the other DB that we had for a minute there that we were tooling around with, and so
that we drafted.
Did we draft? Yeah, I think we drafted him.
DJ Hayden.
Wasn't Hayden. It wasn't Hayden. It was just in my head. But anyway, it was
Nnamdi Asomugha. Nnamdi Asomugha.
When Nnamdi, and I know he's a personal friend of yours, but Nnamdi and the whole illusion of the shutdown cornerback, he was anything but shut down.
Right.
Okay, and so that
Notice he disappeared right when he when he went to the Eagles to get paid.
Where he married a Hollywood wife and got ghost.
He disappeared off the face of the earth.
Between those two over a 10-year period of time, that stunted us being in the market for DBs that were on the free agent wire and just bringing those type of guys in. Even, a Richard Sherman when he was drafted out of Stanford by Seattle. Just like we missed that because we're working on these projects. Right. And Al kept giving them more time to try to prove themselves. And that hurt us a lot, too, because we were notorious. Mike Haynes, one of the greatest cornerbacks ever. We got him from the New England Patriots in 1977.
Yes.
He had been MVP and Rookie of the Year the year before with the New England Patriots, and he was a stellar. We paired him with Lester Hayes in one of the great tandems ever, with the Raiders. So
now you get deep.
We're in the market. We're in the market for that. You're right, Stoner. With Mayock being such a front office maven and being such a OG when it comes to making deals. Yeah, I'm with you with that.
Mayock wants to win a Super Bowl.
We need to be.
They all want to win Super Bowls.
Oh yes, of course.
So even though they go out and make draft picks and they have some success, well, for example, the tight end room was plenty full at the beginning of this year. You had Foster Moreau, you had Derek Wallace, you had Carrier, and all. But then they go out and get Witten.
Right.
Okay, and they, like you said earlier, they're not utilizing them the way you want them to right now. But because when you gotta, those are the ones that are going to get you into the postseason, into the playoffs, into a Super Bowl.
Sure.
When you get that far.
But I'm with Steph. You get a veteran like that on a team that is rebuilding, move to a new city, and what have you, and you want that guy out there. You want him out there with your quarterback. That's the type of guy you want out there. I mean, you imagine, it's not imagine, but we saw how he was such, a saving grace for Tony Romo, who we can all admit is a mediocre quarterback at best.
Jason Witten,
the Raiders quarterback is not so much mediocre as that, like I said, confidence issues, inconsistencies, and just the fact that he doesn't know who to trust and doesn't trust what's going on all the time. So with a guy like Witten out there in his ear to help anchor what's going on offensively out there, you want him out there. You want somebody that is a de facto coach in the field, so to speak, to give number 4 somebody that he can rely on in the huddle and in those critical moments like that. And I'm with her. Witten needs to be in the game, and you need to use him more. I mean, when Al used to go out and get those veterans, he didn't get them and have them sitting on the sideline.
No, but that's a personality flaw too. I think that we're not looking at just the depth of Derek Carr. He seems like the type of person that wants to be this leader, but at the same time, he's not really taking that. He should be sitting on the sideline with his tight end and with Witten and listening to what Witten has to say. He's never listening. He always wants to rush in and ask questions because he's just unsure. But he's not somebody that's listening to the player to like, okay, let's do this. Like you mentioned a few weeks ago offline when you were talking about
Derek
Snake
Carr's by
on the
himself
sideline.
on the sideline, not. You're right. Communicating the way we would like to see him with the rest of his team.
Right.
Working out the
Him
next
taking
play.
the initiative.
I mean, you have
as much as I hate Tom Brady,
you can make that work.
He throws a touchdown. He goes and sits over there like, I threw a touchdown. See?
Yeah.
I just threw a touchdown.
Right.
as much as I hate Tom Brady, he is hanging out with his team the whole entire time.
The whole
game.
time,
Exactly.
yes.
I give him that. I still hate him.
And this is what the youngsters are doing. Josh Allen last night,
Him too.
same thing. He's over there talking to his running backs, talking to his O-line, what have you. Him and Beasley are conversing. The little nuances of the game are still some things that the Raiders quarterback has not really learned or I think has grasped yet.
Yeah.
And it's getting long in the tooth. These quarterbacks are turning over faster. As I've been saying all year, I'm not going to repeat it, but these younger quarterbacks particularly are outclassing him and outplaying him. Yes, stats can look great in one game, and in a period of time you can encapsulate it and then put on that person that he's a great player. And that you will get a win like he got. He was running down the field so surprised that he even did that, as if he couldn't believe that was possible.
Instead of
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, those are the questions that are going to continue to plague him until, like I say, the confidence level is upped and that there is just a secondary nature of being able to just know what to do out there, and you see it in Allen, you see it in Lamar Jackson tonight, you see it in Mahomes. They don't question anything. They don't need to be counseled on the sideline every other play in series. They know what they're doing out there. They're in control, and that's what the Raiders have to get more of on the offense, and particularly through their quarterback position, is more of a confidence of control.
Now, the controversial discussion as far as the game
that
came down to the end in the last 5 seconds of the game where Derek Carr, threw that last pass. And it was a great pass, and it was a great move by Henry Ruggs that he put on the safety. He used his speed to break away.
Great call by you, Chucky.
And it was great to see. It was awesome. And in the 5 seconds, all of our hearts were in our throats. Our heads were spinning, and that was a crazy last minute of the game. But the very next day, defensive coordinator for the New York Jets, Greg Williams, gets fired. Okay. Adam Gase, he looks like a mess every time he goes up there.
Doesn't he? Is he on meth? Or is he on Midol?
He's
what
just
the fuck is going on with that dude?
He's not a head coach.
No, he's not.
So from
he's not a head lacrosse coach.
From an organizational standpoint, did the Jets make some call within that circle to where they didn't put any defensive backs out there to defend the play?
Sabotage?
Was there sabotaging?
No. The Jets are just that stupid. And we need to be thankful that they are. Because anybody from Pop Warner football, with the true baby heads, all the way to professional ranks, know that in a situation like that, it's 3-1-7. You rush 3 linemen, you got a linebacker underneath. And then you've got 7 DBs, man, period. And you keep everything in front of you. And so, no one is, rewriting the book on finding a cure for syphilis here by saying that that's what you do in a situation like that. So, Greg Williams got fired because there was already some internal shit going on. You're 0-12 at that point. They're looking for scapegoats, and that's a scapegoat. Case is probably gone at the end of the year, too. So he was the first casualty, Greg Williams. He's got a reputation of being a, bounty hunter type coach and all that. To me, he's the Buddy Ryan of the modern age. I'm surprised he wasn't the head coach of the Jets. That's where they fucked up. They should have made him the head coach. So, he strikes me as a type of bitter guy that would look to get revenge, but I don't think it was that. I just think they're incompetent defensively.
Right, and luckily it paid off for us.
It paid off, Luckily for number 4, it paid off.
To lose that game would have been the most devastating loss in I don't even know how long. I mean, it would have been that bad to where literally right now the balance of the season is on this moment where they're still in it in December. December, the most wonderful time of the football year. One of my favorite times of the year, man. Playoff runs. When football is football, you're going to see some snow, you're going to see some elements, except for these, cheesy indoor games.
Except for here, Las Vegas.
But, the fact that now we're still in it, we got this run coming up. Now, as far as the Colts go, I have a question.
Baby daddy coming.
I have a question for you, Ray.
Baby daddy!
Because, Phillip Rivers, first of all,
baby daddy!
Even though he's at the tail end of his career, literally at the tail end of his career.
He ain't the tail end of making kids, though.
And we have beaten him a few times, but Phillip Rivers has built his career off of the Raiders. He's beaten the Raiders 18 times, more than any NFL quarterback in the history of the Raiders. That's 3 more than John Elway. And you've seen him up close and personal many times. So I want to ask you both, because I know you're both in the black hole. Do you have any actual specific exchanges with Phillip Rivers?
Yes. His 4th kid, I was screaming, "Baby daddy." Okay, this is not new.
He heard you? You were talking with him?
I don't know if he heard me, but
Phillip Rivers would jab back and forth.
He would look over to us every once in a while. I know when he got into the league, it was just at the tail end of them allowing visiting teams to come down to the black hole end of the end zone to be introduced. That got discontinued after a playoff game.
Said a lot of things to him.
They got discontinued some years prior. Then they tried it again, but then it got kind of worse, and so they didn't. But he would come over and point at us and smile. Phillip Rivers has that assured cockiness, where it's cockiness, but he's sure of it.
It's confidence.
He has no problem being the villain. He's got no problem looking right into the teeth of defeat, or looking into the teeth of a pending threat, and laughing at it.
Yeah.
He's that arrogant villain in movies. That arrogant bad guy in movies.
Who thinks he's the good guy.
Yeah,
but it's like...
that just laughs at the attempts to kill him and throw him out of skyscrapers and kidnap him and shit. He just laughs at that shit. It's funny. You tried to kidnap me? He's that way as a quarterback. Would have been a hell of a gunslinger in the Old West. But he's a threat. He's always going to be a threat because of what you said. He knows the Raiders. What I'm hoping is that Chucky pulls out some old tapes and remembers and goes back and remembers the time, like Michael Jackson, that Phillip Rivers has carved our asses up and has a defense for that. And I think the defense with Phillip Rivers, which has always been his Achilles heel, is pressure, which creates interceptions. He's an interception machine when he's pressured. And this is the template that worked with Brady, too, that we proved that night in Foxborough.
Who should have been
off that edge, stunting that A and B gap with a linebacker, put 7 in the box. Rivers, even as the cagey veteran he is still prone to rush his passes, particularly in the flat. A lot of his interceptions come from him checking down, trying to get rid of the ball at the last second, and throw it into the flat, and boom. You got yourself a pick 6.
They're about to, they're in a different position, though. Because Baby Daddy is getting ready to clinch his division. That's what this game is about. They're already in the playoff hunt. Okay, they're going to get a spot. We're the ones that need to definitely defend and win this game.
So they could possibly be a wild card matchup.
It could be.
If we get in.
It could be. But right now, they're looking at them as a favorite over us. And, that can change day to day depending upon which people end up on the field on Sunday. But they're looking, and they're in a better position than we are in terms of a playoff hunt. So we have got to dominate them this game. And yes, defense does have to show up. It does win championships, but the quarterback cannot be turning the ball over.
It's going to be a shootout because the fact of the matter is that Phillip Rivers.
Who's he shooting out to? I don't even know who's on the Colts.
Phillip Rivers and the Colts have been averaging 30 points a game. They've scored over 40 points twice.
Yeah.
They just beat the Green Bay Packers 2 weeks ago. Proved them pretty good. It's on the stats on the thing over there on the
I haven't
internet.
been paying attention to the Colts. Sorry.
I've been paying attention enough to know that they're scoring points.
Yeah.
All right. T.Y. Hilton is their main receiver still.
T.Y. Hilton, that's the guy. Okay.
Their linebackers are still
no related to Paris.
Their defense is looking pretty good right now. They're ranked higher than we are right now. I know that. And but so it's going to take everything the Raiders have, literally everything that they have.
Everything we've got. And no mistakes.
However aggressive they were on that last play of the game to Henry Ruggs for that touchdown win.
You need to be that.
That has to be
the
tone of the game.
Yeah. And Gruden did set the tone. I mean, the first play of the game was a bomb to Henry Ruggs. It was kind of the same play that they went back to a sideline.
If Henry Ruggs doesn't get that touchdown, he had a bad day prior to that. He lost a fumble, and he had a ball go right to his hands.
But somebody has to throw the ball to him.
But
the person that would have had a bad day before, he had a bad day. All you cocksuckers that like to
the ball was in his hands, and it bounced off his hands.
Oh, well, that one he's got to catch. That was not in the QB. But the bomb, the first one, Okay, that they started the game off with set the tone is what I'm saying.
Right.
And then Chucky didn't go away from asserting the passing game, subsequently, and then they were able to go back to that same play that they started the game off with.
Right.
But yeah, you're totally right. No, that drop is on Ruggs, and you've got to catch those type of passes, dude.
Winning the game was his redemption, that's for sure. I mean, like I said, prior to that, we were talking about...
Well, it was redemption. It was a redemption for both of them. I'm not going to let you guys do it, man. Okay? Stop protecting this cat like he's Dan Fouts.
No,
okay?
I agree.
He's not.
Both of them.
He overthrew Aguilar the play before that.
Right.
Yes.
Okay? And then he had overthrew him in that series before that series that should have been the last series. But, of course, the Jets don't know how to run out the fucking clock. So...
All they needed was a first down, and the game would have been over.
Number 4...
we should have lost that game under those circumstances.
Number 4 won the game, per se.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah.
You guys can go on with your story.
It's going to be the end of the story because it has been. I mean, when are things going to shift into a mode where we actually have the opportunity where we're just sitting back like, yeah, we about to go to the playoffs. This week.
Let's push for this week because we know Phillip Rivers. Chucky knows Phillip Rivers. I'm with Stone. The defense has to tighten up more. They have to be a lot more efficient and smarter in every realm of the game. They're going to, again, have to help complement the offense more. And, this is a game that could very well be a 31 to 17 game. It's just about neutralizing Rivers. Hilton, as you said, hopefully will play a lot more man-to-man in those key moments and get more pressure on Rivers because that's what kills Phillip Rivers is pressure. You can frustrate Phillip Rivers to make mistakes, but you've got to start the game off that way and then plant that in his mind and then be sitting in the late third quarter and the mid fourth quarter when he's pressing and be waiting to pounce.
Well, moving on. We have some other news here with Raider Fan Radio. We have, first of all, we were up 100 subscribers this week.
Right on.
Yes,
thank you.
And that's pretty cool. I mean, I think a lot of our watchers, viewers, listeners, they're just kind of watching, checking it out. So we're asking you. Subscribe. We want subscribers. That's how the YouTube game is played, man.
Yeah.
You get subscribers, you monetize, and you make money. You go further up the ladder, and we'll take you all with us.
Yes, you are coming with us.
But thank you very much for checking out Raider Fan Radio and sharing with your friends, sharing with everybody.
Particularly internationally, our international viewership is really picking up, so we appreciate that. All of you folks across the pond and beyond, you know what I'm saying? Thank you so much. Along the Mediterranean and even up into the Alps.
Yeah, a lot of international.
In the Alps? We're in the Alps?
I think we do have a fan in Switzerland. From
nice.
Switzerland, somewhere up there.
Yeah.
Swedish Raider?
Swedish Raider, I love it. Swedish Raider meatball. Wait till I do those. Go ahead, Stone.
So one of the Joey Raider Stump checked in with us.
Raider Stump, what's up, baby?
He saw the food that you made for us. Raider Rob's Vegas Street Grill made for us at the famous Watchcast party that we had for the Chiefs game. And he reminded us, he said, that looks great. He loves the food. But he was also he kind of wanted to throw down the gauntlet a little bit. He said, I'm going to come out there and make you guys some food just like I did in the South Shield days. So he'll be coming out to Vegas pretty soon.
Yay!
Looking forward
to me, we all win. We're all winners when it comes to the food.
Yes.
You can all feed us all you want. We would love that.
Yes.
He's in the streets. He's in the stands. Your friendly neighborhood Raider man.
Raider man!
Hey!
What's up, baby?
In regards to your comments about what you would wait 14 hours for, when you brought up In-N-Out Burger, and you said, speaking of In-N-Out Burger, Pam Grier,
right.
what you would wait for. He said he couldn't believe that we didn't mention sitting in line for tailgates for Raider games. That's what he threw in there.
Right on, Raider man.
And we know because Raider man loved the famous waiting in line at the Oakland Coliseum all night long partying.
Shout out to 66 Ave.
The tailgate before the tailgate.
I know you still
right, the tailgate before the tailgate. And you're right, Raider man. We did that. How many years?
Overnight.
For, like you said, hopefully 19 weeks. Overnight.
Set the trend. That was great times being out there overnight waiting to go in. And it just would turn into a whole little village and community of all of us out there grilling and singing songs, playing music.
Yeah.
And you're right, Raider Man. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Raider Man tops it all.
You win it on that one. Yeah, that's real.
There you go. Those are the comments and the emails.
Hopefully that'll be reduplicated here in Vegas because, I mean, it could be.
It's going to be different, but we're going to find our way. We're going to find our way in Vegas.
It'll be very different.
We don't know what it's going to be like yet because nobody knows.
Yeah.
It's unknowable, as Donald Rumsfeld once said.
But it's always going to be a party when we're involved.
Now, of course, if you want to contact us, RaiderFanRadio@gmail.com is our email, and you can check in with us, leave your comments and emails. Also, if you want to promote anything on Raider Fan Radio,
if you want to pimp,
let us know.
Shit.
We will pimp your shit, as beautiful Black Hole Steph says. Contact us here, RaiderFanRadio@gmail.com.
Speaking of pimping some shit, we're going to pimp some greenery right now.
Pimp it.
Okay, 420 Dispensary off the North Strip is the coolest marijuana shop in Las Vegas. The best deals, the best bud variety, and best service, and of course, the most reliable store-to-door delivery serving the whole valley.
Delivery weed?
Delivery.
Located at 420 Sahara Boulevard, 1 block east from the famed Sahara Casino. Okay, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The pot does not stop. Okay, at 420 Dispensary. Score more at Las Vegas's premier marijuana store, the 420 Dispensary. The time is always 420, and so is the place. 420 Sahara. Get your high from 420.
And we know Raider fans, when they come into town for games, that's the first thing they're going to look for when they get off the plane is the local weed dispensary.
Yes.
That's good. We got a hookup.
Yeah.
I predict that one day soon, the dear mayor, Carolyn Goodman, and her people are going to work out a way to have a weed dispensary in the airport.
In the airport?
Where you'll be able to purchase coming in. Not departing, but coming in.
Okay, gotcha.
As you enter.
So the first thing you do when you leave.
Allegedly, you go to Hawaii and they put the lays on you and all that. That'll be kind of
like a marijuana leaf lay.
You can come in. And
welcome to Vegas.
There'll be, the Source or 420 or, somebody there. The essence.
See, I don't like that because that takes away from... I don't like that. No. I like the locals.
No.
Let's just keep promoting our Sahara 420 shop there.
All right.
I mean, I don't ever see the feds. The feds.
Oh, that's right. You got to deal with the feds.
It's with the feds with the airport, so don't count on it.
But hey, we've got Raider Logan or Raider Moore out there that says he's hoping that they have a smoking area in the actual Death Star, the stadium.
So do I.
So that'd be cool. We could all get high and hang out at halftime like we used to.
Right by that big-ass window that looks out to the strip.
By the torch.
Have a platform.
Light it up by the torch.
That's what I had noticed. I meant to mention that last week. That's what I had noticed. I was thinking about that when I was looking at the Georgia Dome. A couple of shots they showed at one of the end zones in the Georgia Dome. Did you see these fans that were up on these big-ass beams?
Yeah,
it looked like they were 2 miles away from the stadium, and they were on these fucking, Death Star beams from Star Wars.
Nice.
And it's like, that'd be cool to have, a little section like that, a platform.
Yeah, just give us a section.
The smoking section.
I mean, it's only fair. We're pimping the Death Star.
Call it the green hole.
The Mobil Stadium actually is really, really nice stadium. And that finally getting inside of the Death Star is going to be great.
Oh yeah, because
T-Mobile was it's really nice, and there's places out there.
Yeah, we smoked there.
We did smoke.
We sure did blow right there because I remember I passed it to the young chick in the cocktail dress at the Golden Knights game.
Right,
we was blowing out there. Yeah, we
little
sure
patio.
Blowing weed.
It's nice. So I could definitely. I look forward to seeing what the Death Star has to offer.
We'll have to put that in motion. Right now. 5 for your rights, Raider fan. Go get your smoking section over there at the Death Star.
So it's getting real deep now as the NFL gets to the end of the season. And as Stone said earlier, the Pittsburgh Steelers now lost to 2 with no name. They're no longer undefeated. There are no more undefeated teams. Old-ass Miami Dolphins popping champagne. God bless them, because now there is something that they have to live for. It's like 30 years ago, it was like, all right, you motherfuckers. All right, nobody's going undefeated. But now they're getting older, of course. They're senior citizens, so they got to hang on to, that great accomplishment. So God bless them. They were, once again, will hold the record of 17-0 for the 40th something
Man,
year.
they keep doing it.
So no one is going undefeated again in the NFL due to that. What else still happened in the NFL this weekend? I mean, there was some tight games. Aaron Rodgers continues, the boy from Cal, roll on you, Bear.
I think there's a few
just
upsets.
continues to do his thing up there in Green Bay. But yeah.
You know, I right now, the NFL, I think it's kind of cool to see the upsets right now that are happening and the fact that it just kind of gives you hope. I mean, I'd like to see, first of all, the teams that haven't been great, like, for example, the Washington football team. I like Ron Rivera. I like Jack Del Rio. I like the fact that I think they're going to build a good defense over
Chase
there.
Young, you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and the fact that...
And Alex Smith, 3-1 since he's come back. This guy was left for dead 2 years ago.
It just goes to show you what you could do when you get rid of the young kid that's not doing, you know, what was their guy? Dwayne Haskins? He is obviously not the future of the franchise as far as Ron Rivera is concerned.
No, he's not.
Even though they paid him all the big bucks.
No.
But Ron Rivera, another classic example. And Andy Reid did it with Alex Smith too, where you can take the veteran quarterback if you've got a good team around you. Okay, maybe it's not going to win you a Super Bowl every single time, but you can at least build up a respectable team, and you know it's easier to find out what you need more. You know, we can focus on. If you got a quarterback that, yes, can manage and win games, at least that makes it so you could see what's going on around you to fill the holes.
Yeah, and you could tell just in terms of just being definitive and making a decision. You could tell that there's going to be something coming for them. And then you could look at Philadelphia and look at the Eagles, and their coach just made a change at quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, so sitting down Carson Wentz, and he's upset right now, but it's just making
It all went wrong down there.
I can say this about, even we played the Jets and talked about the Jets. When it comes to Sam Darnold, because I know everyone thinks they're tanking to get your guy, Trevor Lawrence. All right, everyone thinks they're tanking for him, the number one quarterback possibly in the draft.
They're tanking because they suck.
Okay, but the point being is that they're not losing because of Sam Darnold.
No,
I think that Sam Darnold will have a gig wherever he goes after this. You know, a team like the Redskins or even the Broncos. Teams that just need quarterbacks. A lot of teams would take Sam Darnold right now if they were to get rid of him.
The one thing with
Trevor
teams that
Lawrence.
always sit in that number one position and are so terrible, and people think it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to draft the next big guy coming out of college, particularly the quarterback position, is that once you do that, what do you put around him?
Right.
Now Le'Veon Bell was still there. Then you've got a centerpiece or a cornerstone to start your running game to build around him. But then what do you do at receiver? There's no real key receiver
that's why
for the New York Jets. They're suffering a little bit at O-line.
Yeah.
And their defense, through stout, and they punched us in the mouth and played tough through 60 minutes, is not really, particularly after losing Jamal Adams, who many thought was going to come to the Raiders. When you talk about big-time pickups at DB, ended up in Seattle. They have to reconstruct that whole thing there because, again, they gave up 31 points and lost at the end on just one of the worst defensive plays ever. So, you go on and get the big guy coming out of college, but then what do you put around?
Yeah, that's why I think he could end up being a Denver Bronco. John Elway trying to get Trevor Lawrence to the Denver Broncos. That's my nightmare.
God.
I saw it with Peyton Manning. I hate it when they got Peyton Manning.
I'm
a Peyton Manning fan. They went and got Peyton Manning, and then they got a Super Bowl twice, and then they won once.
Coming in 5 weeks, I tell you how to get Trevor Lawrence.
He's not,
to be continued.
Definitely. I can't, I don't want to see that.
No, of course not. All right, tell me about Steph Curry.
Well, Steph Curry, I caught a piece earlier this week on ESPN, and I just want to give shout out to him and this inner city program that he's connected with, where they donated a new basketball court to the court and the playground that I grew up in the middle of East Oakland, California, Manzanita Park. On East 28th and 23rd Avenue. And
your old hood?
My old
your childhood
hood. Yeah. As soon as it came on, the piece, and said he was going to this neighborhood in Oakland when they flashed, a little bit of the setup clips.
Wow.
I could see my old house, in the corner past the recreation center that sat across the street from my house. Behind the recreation center was a 50-yard football field and a playground and a bunch of benches and basketball court that I, pretty much learned to play basketball on. And so it was just nice to see the old hood, but also to see that Steph Curry, although the team has moved across the bay to, San Francisco, he is still got
they're still trying to get that Oakland money.
Oakland. Yeah, keeping his eye on Oakland and helping with the community and shit.
Steph.
So, it was cool to see that. So, right on to you, Steph Curry.
You ever see the movie Black Panther?
Of course.
Chaz
Which one?
the newest.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah,
recent
Black-
one, Marvel
yes,
Comics.
yes.
It opens up, and I thought about
Rest in
you,
peace,
Raider. I
Chadwick
thought about you
Boseman.
both. But I
Raider
thought about
Nation
you in
forever.
particular, Raider Rob. I was watching that movie, and I love.
Thought I was hate monger.
I love Mark. No, you definitely got a lot of hate monger in you. That's for sure. But the opening scene of the movie is it, and of course, brings me back there too because I lived in the Bay Area and Oakland for so long too.
Yep.
It opens up in Oakland.
Yep.
In the 70s.
Yep.
With it's 3 or 4 or 5 little young black kids playing basketball out on the
Yep.
basketball court with a milk carton or something like
Yeah.
that for the hoop.
Yep.
And I thought of you. So it's just funny you mentioned that. It's almost the same scene as you just described. And I didn't even know that of you. So when you just said that's like a revelation. Wow. I think maybe the Black Panther Marvel owes you a little money too. A little something. I need to see our ideas and our life stories being put out there in the world, and people are making some dough off of it.
To Stan Lee's credit, there is one of the early editions of Black Panther, the comic book, during that period of time where there was a connection. T'Challa had came to America and went to Oakland during the civil rights, movement. And if you ever find that issue, it's a very special issue. There wasn't in the storyline of it's not a big thing. They're just kind of in the backdrop,
But it's in the story.
Yeah, Oakland's in the story.
And you know how prideful we were, Oakland. We always want to see ourselves on TV, and we thought we should be shown. And
Look at me, I'm on TV.
like,
Look, I'm on YouTube.
I found that scene, Stone. I'm like, why did they not go to a real basketball court in Oakland? It's like they could have easily done that.
Oh, Mosswood, Lincoln
There's
Park,
so
anywhere.
many parks.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing about growing up in Oakland.
Hey, just be happy you get a little mention, okay?
See, this is the thing we're talking about. This is the thing we're talking about. As we used to argue, people out there in the national media and everybody on the national landscape know about the town. But the town, and this is what we used to always lament, seemed to always get what they kids call now shade. And it would just seem to be a concerted shade.
I don't know shade.
Shade means that, like we get shade over you. And so the kids are saying,
Shade, okay.
I'm not
Like
dealing
you
with
in my
some
life.
shade.
Oh,
I'm
I
in
see
my
what you're
life. Put some
saying.
shade on you.
You're covering
man.
it up.
Yeah. And we've argued that, whether it was on TV, a Raider game or an A's game nationally, how come they don't show downtown? How come they don't show the lake?
Yeah, they show San Francisco.
Because it was always this reputation.
They do.
In the nation that Oakland was just some gritty, God forbidden place like Beirut of America or some shit, or like it was Detroit. No offense, Detroit, or something like that.
But
and it wasn't.
Not.
And and so they would never show. It's like we got ducks on the pond, shit like that. We got
People flying kites.
Yeah, we got white folks sitting at cafes drinking tea and shit.
There were a lot.
So anyway, throughout our lifetime in the town, we always just argued that we didn't get respect nationally.
It's very diverse.
People showing us that the town.
I remember this
highlighted
being
the
in
town.
a locker
Very
room.
diverse.
Like I've shared on the show before with the Chiefs coach came out of the locker room and was like, Oakland is a beautiful city. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, they took me around. I could hear him start to describe areas, and it's just that was never represented.
Yeah.
But it definitely was plenty of parks and plenty of hoop courts to play on. Right on Steph, though, for giving the money and, hey, my shade, give me a little shade. For Steph to do that.
Yeah,
so.
that's what's up. Yeah, we appreciate that.
All right, tell me about what is it up with this YouTube chick you're telling me about earlier today?
Oh man,
because I watch YouTube and I just don't know exactly who it is you're talking about and what they're doing on YouTube.
Well, she's a YouTuber, and just like us, we're on YouTube. The world.
Are we YouTubers?
Yes,
we are officially.
Yeah,
we're 10.
officially.
We've done 10.
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
10 times.
10 times.
10 times on YouTube.
The world's #1 broadcast medium platform. And so she was a YouTuber who got popular. A lot of these YouTubers are getting popular by having videos of themselves and their personal life, and of course being scantily clad, the women, and what have you.
On YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube, sure. And they have these.
Where do I?
Well, you gotta search scantily clad YouTubers.
Scantily
Scantily clad YouTubers.
I like scantly. I like skankly.
Oh, that's another site. That's another
Skankly.com.
But Skankly. Skankly. Anyway, she got popular on YouTube with her vlogs and what have you. And, like I said, a lot of people get on there and they're, got a little element of sexual suggestion on their pages and what have you. Well, a new site popped up about a year ago called OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, now OnlyFans.com is a platform.
Wait.
Oh, yeah. OnlyFans, one word.
Fans.com.
Taking notes, boy.
And so,
I got to do research for my next show.
It's a site that capitalized on the fact that just around the time the pandemic was emerging, it popped up because people were isolated and offered a service where
time on their hands.
Yeah, a lot of time. A lot of time on their hands and a lot of grease in the bottle, a lot of oil in the bottle. And so they offered this out kind of for a lot of turned out women, where you could go on OnlyFans and start up a page and a channel where you could put up provocative videos, explicit videos of yourself, and make money off of it.
Oh, you gotta pay?
Like taking IG to another level. Yeah,
if I'm paying, I want a little bit more than a video. But keep going.
But these are women that are everyday women, everyday beautiful women. Some of them, are type of chicks you would dream about that you would see at Smith's or at the mall or something like that.
The girl next
door.
door.
Yes, exactly. or the slut next door or whatever it may be. Okay. Well.
Thank God for the slut. I knew you were going to
say. These chicks started making so much skrill, so much money. Okay,
OnlyFans chicks?
Right. That celebrity broads started wanting to get into it because they were seeing all the money they were making. So they're thinking, hey, I'm celebrity.
So wait. So celebrity chicks are seeing regular chicks make money because they know they know how to market themselves.
Exactly.
And they're trying to ride the train of them.
Who wouldn't want to see Jessica Alba naked?
I would like to.
Or somebody like that.
I would like that.
They start jumping on it and it really blows the site up. Meanwhile, the new celebrities of the day, which are reality stars and YouTubers, catch on. They've got their own popularity going on this platform that we're on. And this one particular YouTube chick, her name is Gabby DiMartino.
Gabby DiMartino.
Gabby D, that's a capital G.
Don't bother writing her down because I don't think she's on there anymore.
She'll be back.
She recently, because again, the catcher is you can be graphic. But what happens, like you said, no one how to market your stuff.
Yeah, does OnlyFans have
a lot of these chicks are teasing. So a J-Lo or somebody says, come on my shit. And what it basically is, J-Lo maybe walking around her Malibu mansion with her underwear on and nothing and stuff like that. And you might get 3 seconds to pull it. But that's about it. And then,
I need more than 3
seconds. There's some racket in it.
At RaiderFanRadio.Vegas.
This chick pulls the racket. She's been, teasing guys with suggestive pictures and stuff like that. But she ups the ante not long ago, where she says descriptively in the caption, when you want to see me wear no panties, baby wears no panties. Like that.
Baby wears no panties.
Right.
You can say that on the internet?
Right. You can say that. And so her popularity from YouTube, where people have been watching her YouTube and just kind of seeing her with, broad panties or something like that, shorts. They're like, oh my God, she's going to go on OnlyFans, where it's known where the chicks get, like OUI around this.
OUI.
OUI.
Now you're going real deep.
OUI was an old magazine from back in the day. Yes, kids. We used to have to look at pictures instead of moving pictures. But anyway,
I had to sneak into my stoner dad's the what do you call it? It's like right next to the bed, the little cabinet.
The nightstand.
Yeah, the nightstand. Well, when stoner dad was gone for the day, little stoner dude, would be sneaking into the room, breaking the lock, and getting into the nightstand, spending a little quality time in the afternoon
with the magazine,
learning about the future.
Yeah. Now,
The greater things of life.
You motherfuckers out there today like to complain about having to type and wank at the same time.
We had to work at it.
We had to turn pages.
I had to break the lock to get in the nightstand and wait for people to leave to get to it.
Yeah, it's a whole operation.
Leaving,
It's a whole operation. You might as well be in the Marines trying to just
so
get, you know.
I still have an affinity for a good old-fashioned stack of Playboys and penthouse.
Gabby's ass ups the ante because she's been teasing all these guys on the conventional YouTube platform. Okay, that she's going to go on her OnlyFans page. Okay, and baby's not going to be wearing any panties. So what happens is everybody pays, all her fans,
They all
more
wanna see
followers
baby.
want to see this little, attractive
they bought in.
YouTube chick. On OnlyFans now. They think they're going to see, hips and lips.
And they're paying.
Okay, yeah, they're paying. Okay, and they're going to see drapes and curtains. And so, carpet and curtains and all that. All right? Well, what she did, dude, is the old switcheroony. When they logged on there,
The old switcheroo.
she had a video from when she was 3 or 4 years old.
Do we got a sound that goes
from her.
I wanted more of a.
We don't have that one.
That's the one.
She goes in there showing this picture of her when she was
Man.
and then she's screaming, "Baby, where's no panties?"
Did she get fired from OnlyFans?
And so it started a whole controversy because they were
fired.
talking about child pornography.
Yeah.
That she's advocating for that. She played dumb.
Wow, that's
and this
where
is
they
what she
went with
said
it?
the other day in her statement. She said, "I am so disattached." What the fuck does disattached mean? She's so disattached from reality that she didn't think it was going to be a big deal.
People don't. Some people know you're not
Meanwhile,
supposed
she's already
to.
gotten paid.
You're not supposed to post.
She's already gotten
It doesn't
paid.
matter if it's somebody else or you. You should be posting those pictures.
Is that child pornography? Do you think that's her?
That's-
that she should be charged.
That
with,
is that.
with
I
promoting
consider
child
that the
pornography?
slippery slope. Yes.
Okay, you say yes.
Where's the slope everybody's slipping
I
off
don't-
of?
That's it.
don't think
You
so.
slipped off of that one right
You
there.
don't think so?
No, that her intention was not to lure somebody.
Yes,
with
it
her baby.
was. You missed the whole.
It's
freaking
exactly
thing.
what it was.
She
That's what it
lured-
was. She
It was
was
a joke. She got you. Yeah,
A
she
joke?
did. She did a Corey Feldman on you. Okay.
What?
She sold you a story that she wanted to really see. Yeah, Corey Feldman got me.
He just defrauded a bunch of people last year. But anyway, go ahead, Steph. with your
Yeah,
story.
he defrauded you. He charged you $20 to come and look at a video that didn't, where he didn't give up any game like he said he was going to. So it was total fraudulent. So I could see her on the fraud, yes, but her intention wasn't to, promote child pornography. So
Either way, it's just a bad idea. Now you know.
Yeah, don't
now
do
she
that.
does
The more you know.
Now she
Yeah.
does know.
So is she down from TikTok? Well, not Tik. Look,
TikTok.
TikTok,
TikTok ain't got shit to
TikTok,
do with it.
YouTube,
OnlyFans,
OnlyFans.
you know,
I don't know.
I think her account has been suspended, but it just caused a lot of controversy
Yeah, I
and
figured
begged the
they
question
would.
was she promoting, child pornography, even if
No.
it was innocently but obviously the rig was in. She teased it by saying, "Baby wears no panties," and she knows all these old horny motherfuckers that have been following her.
Well, look at
They
what
want to
happened.
see her without her panties
That's
on.
what you get.
But then to dupe them by having a little infant video, yeah, I'm with him.
That's fraud.
Wherever this slippery slope
Like I
is,
said, if you
or
posted
whatever,
a picture of somebody else,
the sliding scale.
and it was them naked as a kid, then you probably have something to say about it. But when it's you doing it yourself, then you think, there's an innocence behind
Right.
it. It's you have the choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for profit.
You're like, no.
She knowingly knew she was putting that up there. Rather, she understood the content.
She
and-
knew what she
and
was planning.
Yeah, she knew what she was doing to some extent.
You knew.
Exactly. You knew. Anyway, baby daddy is coming to Vegas. Lock your doors, single ladies or ladies that are ovulating, because baby daddy's in town. Phillip Rivers. No, I'm just playing. But anyway,
ovulating.
Phillip Rivers is coming to town. It's the Raiders. It's the Colts. Anybody want to throw scores out? I'm going Raiders 27, Colts 21.
Oh,
Want to throw a score out?
He likes to throw scores. You don't know by now he likes to throw scores.
I'm in Vegas,
know,
baby.
but it's always
I
a
get
pressure.
You don't have to do it if you don't want
have to
to.
do it.
You can do it if you want to comment
So
and
you got a
suggest.
score? You got a score?
I'll just go through it. Yeah, it's going to be a high-scoring game. Raiders are going to have to score at least 33 points. And I say that the Colts are probably going to score at least 28 points. So, yeah, 33-28.
33-28. Okay, so we'll evaluate that on next week's show. Wherever you are out there in the land, man, be safe. Okay, there are vaccines. By the time you see us next time out there for the COVID-19,
that should make you feel nice and safe.
Coronavirus disease. So be careful out there. Be scrutinous. Talk to your personal physician first before you go in. But there is starting to be a rollout of vaccinations and treatments for COVID. So, let's just put our hands together, folks, and our minds.
So the three of us will be together. You'll be vaccinated.
Pray for the positive. I'm already vaccinated. Drinking high-quality French sparkling rosé, baby. I'm vaccinated.
Isn't it an anniversary for you, Raider Rob, on our way out?
Yeah, on our way out, I just want to say to myself, it is the 20th.
Happy anniversary, by the way.
Yeah, 20th anniversary of me being relieved of my federally sponsored vacation.
Oh, right
20 years ago.
That sounds cryptic.
So anyway, I've stayed out of trouble there for 20 years.
Yeah, that's the news. You've been out of trouble for 20 years. Good for you, and I'm glad.
Thank you.
It's kind of funny. It's right around when I think I met you.
Yeah.
Right when you were finished with your vacation. So I'm honored to say I've been a great influence on Raider Rob now for 20 years.
Oh, yes.
And you could all thank me for it,
He
too.
discovered me.
I did that. I discovered him. Anyway, well, you can contact us here. Email your thoughts, suggestions, comments. If you want to pimp your shit on Raider Fan Radio, you contact us at our email, RaiderFanRadio@gmail.com. And if you want to check out my art, and I know you do, you can go on Instagram, and you can contact me at Stoner Dude Art. Trip out on my shit. I have my Pantera art. I have all kinds of other stuff for you to trip on. And you can contact me there as well, because I know you're a bunch of Instagrammers.
He'll draw carnivals, bar mitzvahs, baby showers.
We'll draw for food. We'll draw for weed.
Somebody sitting here in our city, Las Vegas, not too far from us, has one of Stone's pieces. The famous actor Nicolas Cage owns one of Stone's pieces. So he's in great company. His art is in great company. Eyes are on him. So, yeah, you can get customized art, too, with Stone. So check it out, man.
Stoner Dude Art on Instagram.
Yes.
Man,
all right.
I want that shirt.
That was printed at Winterland Productions, San Leandro, California, right there in the East Bay, right by the Oakland Coliseum.
Yeah, that's
We'll
hot.
see you next time. Thanks for hanging out at show number 10. We'll see you at show number 11. Later, Raider.
10, baby. Peace, everybody. Stay Raider.
The views and opinions of RaiderFanRadio.Vegas, RaiderFanRadio.com, and Raider Fan Radio Media are not the views and opinions of the Las Vegas Raiders, Al Davis Football, Inc., or the National Football League. RaiderFanRadio.Vegas is an independent media source.